cut my life
Fuck.
into pieces.
This is a plastic fork.
Burner.
Yeah,
You forgot the intro, Freddy.
I just skipped to the good part.
Whatever.
That's how I remember that song. I skip over the boring parts and just go to the awesome metal riff.
That's incredibly disrespectful to the Roach, to the Big Papa.
You gotta put respect on the roach.
Welcome to the Album Spotlight Podcast, the only podcast that puts a spotlight on albums. My name is Noah,
My name is Freddie.
My name's Nathaniel.
and this time we are talking about Bloodflowers by The Cure.
Who's the Cure?
That sounds like an obscure band.
Yeah, that sounds really underground.
The Cure is your mom's favorite goth rock band.
Ah.
It was released in the year 2000. I guess this was kind of my pick, and I wanted to talk about it because it's one of their albums that gets a bit overlooked, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is that's just your opinion, man. So these are all just like opinions.
You're right. Freddy's right.
I don't know how to play off of this in a funny way, so I'm just gonna keep moving. Um, so yeah, it was kind of written off by the critics when it came out. Their previous album was called Wild Mood Swings, and few people listened to it.
Was
And
it good?
no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a few people should have listened to it.
I remember the opening track being really good, and then nothing else lives up to it even a little bit.
Aw, that sucks.
Yeah. So I think people were, and like the whole
Yeah.
90s had passed. I think people were pretty ready to just write off the band.
Oh,
So
I see.
yeah, when Bloodflowers it came out, I think people just didn't care that much.
Which is a shame.
I mean, some people did. Some people did. And there are definitely like fans of The Cure that are really into it, but it's kind of a split on whether it's just like kind of one of the boring albums that surrounds it, or whether it stands out among those. It does have the misfortune of having a very similar cover to the two lackluster albums that came out after it.
Yeah, this album cover kind of blows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
not in a good cover era.
yeah.
No.
Their last good cover was probably Disintegration. I think that was
Yeah,
probably
Wow.
their last good album cover.
that's
That's a
pretty
long.
hilarious.
That's a long
Yeah,
while not to have a good cover.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
that
they're
was
really
1989.
they're really going for like the like chicken scratch aesthetic, like all
Hmm.
the weird like scratched out drawings kind of thing. There's like so many of these, and they all look just like
Yeah, like the one after this was literally drawings that his nieces and nephews had
Oh
made
god,
when they
Wow.
were kids, and
oh god.
yeah, he said like make some drawings that are the happy dream, and then make some drawings that are a nightmare, and then he like put them
Oh,
together, which sounds cooler in concept than it is because it just looks like shit.
well, it's a child's drawing, so
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure
it's
what he was
not.
expecting.
Well, he liked it, I guess. He, you know, made it the
Yeah,
cover.
fucking stupid,
Fucking
Um,
dumb, stupid
fucking
idiot.
dumbass, stupid.
yeah, not that we're talking about that album, but the one they followed this up with, their self-titled, is their worst one in my opinion, and it's kind of funny because they got like the big new metal producer guy, Ross
Oh,
Robinson, I think his name is. Yeah, he worked with
So
like
awesome.
Slipknot and Limp Bizkit. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a new metal album, but it does sound like ugly as shit.
That'd be so awesome if just like they just like fuck it, we're making a new metal album. Nobody's listening to our shit. We gotta
Yeah.
get with the
we have to
times.
get with the times.
I guess
Yeah,
I
the
wouldn't be the
times
only
being
one.
2004.
Well, they're a little behind, so they have to catch up.
This is the Cure in their alt rock era. They were kind of moving into that with their most popular album, Wish, in '92, embracing the alt rock thing a bit. Well, a lot. It's just like
Yeah.
an alt rock album.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
album's really, yeah, it's like really rocking. Like there's a
it
lot of it's
is.
very high energy.
Yeah,
That's the thing
yeah.
that struck me about it. Yeah.
Fun fact about this album: is that it was fully ready to be released in 1999. It had been recorded, and they pushed it back almost a year, like the record label, because they
Oh,
thought nobody would listen to it because of the Y2K panic.
oh my God. Wow, that's funny.
So it is kind of just a 90s album.
Yeah.
Like it was
Wouldn't
entirely
it have been
recorded in the 90s.
would it have been so awesome if it was like 2.5 years and then they were about to release it and then 9/11 happened? It was like,
Oh
fuck, not
God.
again. Come
That
on.
would be crazy. Yeah, they're like, I
Shit.
don't know. I think people still might think the world is gonna end. And it's like early 2001. They're like, I still don't think they're ready for this. I think nobody's
We
gonna
gotta
be
like,
listening to
yeah.
music for the next like 3 years.
People are still like coming down, you know. That was a big panic.
Yeah.
We're all collectively still, getting ourselves back
They're like,
together.
"Whew, okay, we're good."
The dust is still settling on that thing that never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give some background on the Cure's past? I think we yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should probably do that. Yeah, like here they're one of the big new wave post punk and goth rock bands. They're pretty popular. I think most people kind of know about them. Yeah, they're probably like the most responsible for popularizing the goth look. Like
Oh,
Robert
for
Yeah.
Smith,
sure.
especially with his face paint and messy hair.
So all you out there who like all those who like alt girls, thank him. He's the reason.
Literally.
You should
Yeah.
like Robert Smith just as
You
much.
should like Robert Smith if you like alt girls, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, they're one of the earlier post punk bands, and then they kind of flip flopped from new wave to post punk for most of the 80s, and then they got really big with Disintegration. Well, yeah, the song Just Like Heaven off of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me in 87, and then Disintegration in 89. And
Was
they just,
pornography not like a big thing at the time?
no, it wasn't huge. They didn't get too big until Kiss Me, I
Yeah.
think.
Like more of an
Oh.
internal post-punk kind of success rather than like a like radio mainstream thing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like Pornography is considered by basically everybody to be one of their better one. Well, basically everybody who's like a fan of The Cure.
Everyone is not
Um,
stupid.
Yeah. You're not dumb.
If you're dumb, then I don't know, man.
On that note, Robert Smith said that he was specifically thinking of Pornography and Disintegration when he was writing and recording Bloodflowers. He said
Really?
that
Uh,
he was trying, like he had considered like those two, like Pornography and Disintegration, to be the two best albums they had made.
Oh,
So
that's so,
he was trying to, yeah, like
that
get
makes
back to
that's
sense.
that.
it's so funny when an artist. 'Cause I'm so used to artists having like shit takes on their own music, you know. Like it'll
Yeah,
always
Yeah.
be like how Kendrick Lamar says "Damn" is his best album, or at least he did
yeah,
prior to his new album. It was like I'm just so used to that kind of shit where they like hate their best album or whatever.
yeah.
It's so funny to hear an artist like honest about
I know.
like
I
yeah.
was really surprised to hear that in his interview that he agreed with like the fan opinion, basically.
Let's say this
Um,
is most personal.
oh yeah,
Kind
that is the thing to do if you
Yeah.
if you made an album that you don't really care about. You're like, yeah, I think it's like very mature. It's definitely like one of our more personal
Very
albums.
very mature.
Yeah, I mean it's boring. I think that was a tag that people put on this album a lot, is that it's mature, which is usually a backhanded.
Yeah.
Compliment.
Yeah, it makes me think of like adult contemporary or something. Like I don't know. That's just
Oh,
I feel
Yeah.
like in music that's never a good thing when it's like or yeah.
Well,
It's just
mature
like
means you've gotten to the age where you can't have fun anymore. That's what it means.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
so I went to this album again as usual, pretty blind. I've only ever heard Disintegration, Pornography, and I always forget the fucking name. Head for door.
Head on the
wait,
door.
head in the door.
Head
Yeah.
on a door. Yeah, and I like all those. And then I was like, well, I've heard only bad things about anything after Disintegration, so I was a little worried. But honestly, I think this is like probably top three of what I've heard. It's like very unique. It's really brooding and very depressing, but also there's a lot of like passion and like love, kind of when it comes to like elements of the album. I mean, Like a lot of the time, it's like, oh, the song's gonna be depressing, and then it turns out it's like a love song. You're like, oh, but I guess it's The Cure generally, honestly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think this one like sticks to a mood more than most of their albums do. Like I think even the long songs are like they are kind of like bittersweet.
Yeah, very reflective.
What did you think, Freddie?
No, I thought it sucked.
Okay,
Man,
well,
We're doing this again.
yeah.
the best bit.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
good, we do it every
No, it's
time.
funny. It's funny every time. It's a good way to like collect your thoughts while you're like trying to think of your actual opinion, just to say.
That's what I suspected.
Yeah.
You're just stalling.
Yeah.
Just stalling,
Um.
bro.
Yeah. No, I quite enjoyed this album. I thought it was very impressive, and having heard it and looked at the way it's and looked at its like critical reception and whatnot, I agree that it's like quite overlooked and probably in a way that's kind of not the album's fault. I have a similar background to Nathaniel with The Cure, where I like I like them quite a bit, and I've heard a decent few of their albums, with of course the most like Disintegration, Pornography being the ones I'm most familiar with. And then I hadn't heard this album before, so I was like, it'll be interesting, and I'm curious to see what they were doing at this time. And yeah, and I think I said it before, but I think one of the things that really struck me like immediately about this was like how much like there's like seriously rocking on it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's I mean there's definitely some of that lethargic stuff, like you hear it in there, but like it's like secondary to like the fucking guitar solos and like upbeat drums. Like they're just like have like breakdowns and shit. It's like really it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's like loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard Robert Smith scream like that. Like and
Yeah.
specifically stuff like
Watching me
uh
fall.
Watching Me Fall. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
God, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like holy fuck.
You may be surprised to learn that he is in that mode most of the time on the following album, and it's not very good.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
He takes it a little too far.
that sucks.
Yeah, it's like it's just when the songs are limp, it just makes it sound a bit silly and overdramatic,
Yeah.
Uh, that's
as
a
it turns
shame.
out.
Like do you mean limp like just bad or limp like underproduced?
In the case of their self-titled, both.
This album definitely another thing about it is very, similar to like their earlier work. It's like it remains very lush. I don't know. It generally like works well with what the songs are doing. There's like a bit of that like I detect a bit of that, that sort of like circa 2000s like loudness war kind of production a little where it
Hmm.
I hear that a little bit in there, but it's like, I think it doesn't take away much from the experience.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's unfortunately just like what so many albums that were released around this time sound like, where it's just like, wow, that acoustic guitar just sounds like an electric guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
there's a lot of that in this album.
yeah,
Yeah, the dynamics are definitely more squashed than their 80s stuff, unfortunately. But
yeah, but I think
There's
uh,
a lot of acoustic guitars on this album, actually.
yeah,
yeah, I mean, when the songs are like good and it's not like constantly clipping or anything, it's not the biggest deal.
yeah,
No.
yeah. It's really and it's got like I think it I don't know. I mean, I said it's lush and kind of maximalist. It's compatible with that sort of production style more so than like fucking I don't know. Dave Matthews Band just popped into my mind as an
Yeah.
example. It does not.
We're finally coming after them.
Oh
It's been
no.
too long. We must have done.
DMV, I have my sights on you.
We must have done some dunking on them so far in this podcast, have we not?
I don't think
I
so. I don't think we've ever brought them up.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not sure. Like they deserve
yeah,
They do.
like their
They do
production
deserve
is
it.
so fucking lame.
it. Don't get me wrong. I would see them live, and I'd probably be like, "That was kind of fun."
Yeah, no, they probably good live. Yeah, it's probably a very fun show.
But their albums all go number one. They like
Yeah,
all go number one. People are listening to the albums. Like you can do the whole, oh
like
man, they're a live band, they're a jam band. You gotta watch them jam. But people are listening to the album, so like
yeah, there's
that's how
clearly
you got
some.
into them. So don't give me that. You like the albums too.
It's true. Can't
That's like
deny that.
the jam band. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but that's the jam band fan thing.
Yeah.
Is they're always like, oh, you got to hear the live stuff. That's what's really
Yeah.
good. But then like when you dig deeper, then they'll be like, no, actually the albums are really good too. And it's like, well,
Yeah,
which is it?
it's like the kick in the can down the road, except for like they kick the can to like the other side of the road, and then you go to that side of the road, and then they kick it to the other. I
Yeah,
don't
moving
know.
the goalpost or something.
Yeah, they're kicking the goalpost down the field uh, with the can. Yeah.
Just give me your hottest takes. What do you think about this album that'll piss people off? That'll soak them in piss.
Oh,
It's like, oh, I don't know about that.
yeah, I don't know.
I could hear you
Maybe,
blushing from over here.
that's not a blush. That's I don't know what that was, but it wasn't blush.
I could hear you quivering
That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's in fear, in fear.
in anticipation.
That too.
I don't know. Out of This World is a good song.
Good
Yay,
opener.
nay.
Yeah, oh
Good
yeah, it was a
opener.
great. It's a great opener.
I don't
Yeah.
think that'll piss people off, but I think
Yeah.
we can talk about that.
Okay, okay.
I'll
Let
probably
me
piss
let me.
somebody off.
So I like Out of This World because it starts off like really curie, if you know what I mean. Like it's just kind of like
Fury.
ambient and like, you
It's
know
a
what
good
I mean. Like
adjective.
it's like
Yeah, no, I know
very
exactly
just
what you mean.
and and,
Great.
and then it like and then like within like I think it's like a minute it's like that, and then after that it just kind of like hits off with the energy, and then the album really never stops with the energy after that point.
I always have to like stop at the beginning of this track to make sure my headphones are disconnected because it's like a few seconds of silence at the start, and I'm like, oh shit, is this like playing out my speakers or something? And
Yeah, they
Oh,
really like doing that. Like they do
yeah,
that on the first
yeah, just
track of Disintegration too.
Disintegration. I was gonna say I also listened to that
yeah.
this week and had the same experience.
There's a bit of tension as I wait for the song to actually come in, where I'm like, do I have it too loud or not?
Yeah.
Also, can you just explain real quick what the sound war, is that what you said?
The
Loud.
loudness war. Yeah, yeah, we should probably explain that. Yeah, Freddie touched on it earlier, but it was this tendency in the CD era when people were recording digitally. It wasn't on the tape anymore. Um, it was this tendency to continually just put the make all the levels louder basically and make it kind of like an even level of loudness with compression. Freddie could talk about this a bit with a bit more technical prowess, but like it would just basically all of the levels would be more similar to each other, and the overall volume of the song will kind of stay the same. And
Oh, okay.
the effect of that is that it kind of just feels like it's being loud all the time because you're like when there are no dips in the volume like between the instruments or between the sections of the song, like you're going to put the volume that you're listening to it to a certain level and it's just going to stay there so it can like kind of give you ear fatigue by the end. Like
I
that's the
see.
thing people don't
Yeah.
like about it, but the trade-off is that it sounds good in a car. Like you're not losing as
Yeah, on the
much.
radio.
Yeah, on the radio.
Basically, like when you turn your volume knob up and down, you're adjusting like where it's peaking. But if you apply a compressor to it, you're adjusting the average loudness of it. You can have two songs that are peaking at the same place, but then if the average loudness is way louder, so like everything is like really close to the maximum loudness in like say the second one, then that'll sound way louder, sort of psychoacoustically, than the first one. So there was just this idea of like, you know, if something is louder, like the average volume is louder, then it sounds more
Right.
awesome. Which
Yeah.
there's, you know, so it's just kind of like, yeah. So it's like a battle to do that. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a formal end date on the loudness war. It's really just sort of like 2005 or whatever. Most of the music on the radio was like guitar based, and so like the basic
Right.
so it was like, yeah, there was a very close comparison to like, you know, like the 70s or whatever, like where, you know, it was like still guitars, still like electric guitars and drums and basses were the base of all of the music, and so there was a very clear one-to-one comparison. of how it sounds. And you could be like, look, the guitar, look, this is how they're doing it now. This is how they were doing it then. Look, everything's so loud. But now it's sort of like it's not that the loudness war has exactly gone away, but now like most of the music, I don't know. There's so much like electronic based stuff. There's so much like trap and EDM and like
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
sounds more digital anyway.
I'd say that it's just like people forget about it a little more now.
Vocally, this is probably some of the best I've heard from Robert Smith
I would agree.
um,
Mm,
on this
yeah,
album. Like
no, he sounds good.
I'm really impressed, honestly, with the vocals on this album. There's like so much emotion and it's like so emotive, and there's a lot of like whisper to like screaming,
Hmm.
especially on "Watching Me Fall," which is like might be the best track on the album. Just so good.
It's probably my favorite. I guess I'll get it.
And lyrically also, this whole album is really great. It's very reflective, very much like someone looking back on their life and retelling it in a very like nostalgic but also sad way. Like he's like, I wish it could have been different almost a lot of the time. Uh,
Hmm.
but at the same time, a lot of the instrumentation is very upbeat at moments. But overall, I do think this album is very kind of maybe not brooding's the right word, but there's a lot of just
Like
it's a
melancholic.
very melancholic, yeah, very melancholic.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's something really impressive about Robert Smith is that his vocals just sound the same as they did
I
decades ago.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like even on the following albums, like sometimes his delivery is a little weird, but quality of his voice is always there.
I'd say he's sort of like the sort of archetype I think of like a vocal like when someone says like somebody has like a cry in their voice, you know.
Yeah.
The
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I just immediately go to Robert Smith. It's just like you so much of a singing, you just like kind of want to give him a hug or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's
Yeah. He's a real sad sack.
yeah.
Or he at least like the narrator in the song is often a bit of a sad sack.
Yeah, there's
Hmm.
a real sad sack quality to it, which is
Yeah.
very fun.
I'll say it's almost whiny at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the number one criticism I've heard of The Cure is that they're too whiny.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I understand. Like, I understand if like you hear that and you're like, I don't like his voice. It's
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's very polarizing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like saying metal is too loud. It's like, okay, then you just like don't like it. I think we did this last episode too. It's
Yeah,
like, it's like if
Yeah.
you're just critiquing like what the basic like tenets of the thing are, then like you're just like not engaging with it, and like that's fine if you don't have the energy. But like, yeah, I don't know. Don't act like that's like a real criticism.
yeah. I don't know. I might be reading into it too much, but a lot of the time when people say that criticism, it feels to me like they maybe can't engage with it on an emotional level.
Yeah,
Like it might
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of pushing them to think about some feelings that they don't like thinking about. Like they might just be
yeah,
the kind of person to be like, okay, we're gonna bottle that up, and then hearing
yeah.
somebody just like unabashedly not bottle it up, there's just something uncomfortable about it, maybe.
Yeah, it gets pretty. Yeah, it gets pretty like deep and dark with the emotions and like some of the subject matter and stuff. You,
I guess that brings me to kind of my interpretation of the album generally on a lyrical level. I think that there's a really strong theme of change
Mm-hmm.
and accepting change or having a hard time accepting it. And with that, it like relates to aging and death are like kind of wrapped up in that and breakups and the dissolution of love and stuff like that. Just like kind of things ending.
like the last day
Yeah.
of summer.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
you could
I didn't
say.
know it was so
Woo!
cold.
Part of the reason I picked this album was we were thinking of doing like a fall vibes kind of album.
Oh yeah, yeah. And end of summer, beginning of fall, which this very much is, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I see it anyway. And I think that lyrical theme kind of fits like the leaves falling off the trees at that time of year, and then yeah, obviously the song "Last Day of Summer" just makes it kind of obvious. But like that song, skipping ahead a little bit, like it kind of obvious way, like, uses the metaphor of and like the summer ending as
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like aging or just like some kind of relationship or situation that's important to you, like fading away and trying to
Yeah.
deal with
hmm
that.
I think that's like that's you just put the album in a nutshell is something or someone fading away and you just having to continue like
Yeah,
Yeah.
and remember it and just getting older. So especially there's a lot of like about getting older in this.
Yeah.
hmm
Um,
The choice of metaphor and the way it's used of the sort of like autumnal thing. Not to be like this thing is like this other thing, but I don't know. It reminds me of the it reminds me of like the thing like Unwound do with like
yeah,
the with like, you know, like October all over, like summer freeze, like that kind of they very much use like the same kind of thing to like say a similar thing.
leaves turn inside you. The name of the album.
Yeah, like all that stuff on that album is very like I don't know. There's it's a little more like ambiguous, but it's still like a similar kind of like to like autumn as this like you feel it's like the autumn of like the earth or something. I don't know. I mean
Yeah.
that's stupid. That's what autumn is, the autumn of the earth. Like the autumn of the universe, I guess. Yeah, that's better.
There we go.
I guess the autumn of half the earth technically. It's
What a clean comparison.
that's
Yeah,
so
I don't
cool.
know. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Used to be so easy. I never even tried.
I'll say my favorite is The Last Day of Summer.
That's your
I
favorite
knew
track.
it.
Yeah, that's my favorite track on the album.
I thought this one was gonna be your favorite.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because it's so bad.
Okay, okay, okay,
No, this track's
okay.
awesome.
I always wondered why he wanted to do a podcast with me when he hates my
That's the
music
shit
taste.
on. It's
Every
because
time-
Freddie likes to shit on you.
Yeah, it's because he's the he's just fundamentally an unsupportive person.
Yeah.
Talk about your stupid song.
Yeah, fine. Not that you're gonna care. Um, no, I think that the tune on this one is really strong. It feels like if a song had to be the single, which there technically were no singles,
Yeah,
no singles you could buy anyway, like no commercial singles
Oh.
leading up to this album. They sent a couple to radio, but Robert Smith was like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I don't know. I love that keyboard part. Like the guitars come in, kind of bring the song in, and then that keyboard melody. It's just great. Something I like about this album in general, but I think this song exemplifies pretty well, is it's that they do that classic The Cure thing. Like what I think of what makes their sound is the way they layer different melodies on top of each other simultaneously.
Yeah,
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, and how it like makes this lush soundscape. The like counter melodies that are going on are it's always so intricate and cool. Yeah, the guitar tones on this, I don't know. A lot of it kind of sounds like a bit disintegration-y. And that's sometimes what I lean towards on this album because I just think Disintegration is like one of the best albums ever. Like, cold take, but it's one of my favorites.
all
Um,
honestly.
right.
that chorus is amazing. I think it also lyrically just kind of like sums up the album with
Yeah,
the last day of summer never felt so cold, uh, and then like never felt so old. And like it used to be so easy. Like that's just so like potent.
yeah, it really is. Like I was just thinking about while I was listening to this album. I was like, my man, summer used to be a thing where you just did nothing, and now I'm just like summer, just oh, I'm working, but it's hotter. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
it's
progressively becomes like the same as like the rest of the year, except like you're it's just like warmer.
yeah, grosser.
Yeah,
yeah. No, it is true.
yeah,
It's like I like this album really is just about like growing older and everything moving past and these past experiences and not that we're old, but you know, we're definitely not kids anymore. We're teenagers, and it's just very much like looking at that very recent past and be like, man, that's such a different time.
But yeah, I guess I'm kind of outing myself as a normie because it is the most streamed song in the album.
yeah.
Oh.
the little like secondary chord progression it goes into for the little chorus sequence. And there's
Mhm.
Yeah.
like this piano. There's like, or it's like a little. Yeah. Let's see. There's like this little like keyboardy line. I forget.
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Oh yeah. Then do 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 do. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really like, ooh, yeah,
Yeah, when I was listening to it, I was like, Freddie's gonna like that part.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think I noticed about a lot of these tracks, which is very true of this one too. I don't know. I get a bit of that like in addition to having the being like having much more sort of like rock to it than their older stuff. It's like it's also got like I don't know. You feel kind of like there's like a little hint of like down tempo. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the and you hear it on this track the way it sort of like you know it just sort of it like sort of floats along in this very steady way and like takes its time, you know. It's very but
Yeah.
like has like a really steady beat. Like it's not I guess yeah, float is almost not you know, it's like because like a lot of their older music also has like a floaty thing to it, but like it's very like there's something very steady and like pulsating about it on this album.
yeah, and that's an astute observation about the downtempo influence because the initial recording and writing sessions for the album were apparently pretty drug fueled and they were making more electronic leaning stuff.
Mm.
And
Oh.
then, yeah, like after several months of that, like they had 6 songs, I think he said, that were basically done. And then Robert Smith was listening back to them and being like, this sucks.
That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, so he just trashed the whole thing, and I think his bandmates were a little bummed, but they were all
What
like
if it was
happy with it.
awesome? What if
Yeah, what
it
if it's
was like,
Well,
great?
yeah?
well, I've heard some of the B sides actually. Like some of
Yeah.
them did see the light of day eventually.
Are they shit?
One of them was kind of like, all right, this one didn't need to come out of
Was
the
that the one
ball.
you sent me? The B-side that you sent me for The Cure?
No, no. There's the B side I sent you was off of the Wish era.
Oh, okay.
And that
Okay.
that one was, like, amazing, that's one of their best
Yeah, that one
songs.
was fantastic.
Really? Because I thought it was shit.
Shut up.
Wow, that joke never gets old. Let me just
I
say that right
will
now.
kick you if you don't stop this. And then the podcast is gonna be really awkward, and everyone's just gonna, like well,
Yeah.
nobody's listening to this.
Yeah.
Hey, it's so
Not with that
mean.
That's not true.
attitude.
Yeah, actually, that's not true. That's not true, we have
Yeah.
viewers now, technically. Um,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, by the way, I need to address the elephant in the room.
Mm.
Oh,
We've received quite a bit of hate mail,
huh?
dangerous packages, and death threats about my audio quality. And so,
Oh,
for the
Mm.
safety of myself and my loved ones, I reached into my personal funds and got myself a real microphone. So you're welcome. I hope
You're
you're
welcome.
appeased.
yeah, it was really fucked up, and you sent that dirty bomb to your workplace.
Yeah,
Yeah, all that fucking anthrax was pretty was kind of bumming us out.
yeah. It didn't agree with me. That anthrax did not agree with me.
Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
no, yeah, don't get me started on that.
I don't know what they put in there, but like that was no good. Oh
I don't
man.
know why you're laughing. This is like a really serious. Like
Yeah,
Noah could have died. I don't know
yeah,
why
I
you're
guys,
gotta I
laughing.
gotta cope somehow, man.
yeah,
Like
No, that's fair. That's fair.
there's no controlling it except to,
yeah.
cave and spend money on a microphone. So thankfully I survived.
Mm-hmm. You did.
Some of my neighbors did not though. So
Yeah, sucks to suck.
yeah, I mean, survival of the fittest, I guess.
I think we should go over everyone's favorite track. So, ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's probably Watching Me Fall is my favorite. There's like a couple that I think are like similarly very good.
All right. Someone put a gun to your head, and they're like, "What's your favorite track on this album?"
Yeah, it's probably Watching Me Fall.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this one's a banger.
Glad to have this sorted then.
It just like goes hard. And I love the fucking evolution. Like it's got
Yeah.
so much good drama and tension to it. The way it like crescendos and evolves. Yeah, it's really a cool thing. That's kind of that's like pretty new to this album.
Yeah, there's so much
Yeah, it's
energy in this song. It's so great.
yeah, I love how linear it is, how it just like keeps
Yeah.
building and building. Yeah, it's so like dense and kind of shoegazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of like shoegazy, I forgot to mention on
Out of this
Out of This
world.
World. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. Like
Yeah, they're like using the whammy bar. It's like that
yeah.
classic My Bloody Valentine shoegaze thing.
Yeah, it just like drifts around the right notes and like never lands on them. And so, oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's like I think there's a subtle shoegaze influence. I think there's a subtle shoegaze influence to
Yeah.
most of what they did post disintegration, honestly, because
Yeah.
Robert Smith was like a huge fan of Loveless.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I guess I
said it
can see
was
it.
like yeah, he said that was like one of his contemporaries that basically like lit a fire under his ass, I think.
Yeah. He's like,
Um
holy shit, this is so good. I'm gonna make a fucking shit album.
I mean, Wish is great. I think
Yeah, I guess
Wish is
was
a
Wish the one he
fantastic.
made right after that. Okay, Wish is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say Wild Mood Swings was the one that was closely inspired by it. Let's say
I
he
mean,
didn't
that
hear
might have been
it.
because Loveless only came out like a year before Wish.
Yeah, maybe they'd been recording already, and so that was sort of
Yeah.
ideas were solidified. Yeah,
And like Loveless was by no means a commercially successful album, so like maybe it took him a year or two to find it.
yeah.
So that might actually be the situation where he was like, "Oh my god, let me that was so awesome. Let me make a bloated album that sounds nothing like it."
You're just like you hear it, you're like, oh, the inspiration is flowing through me. Oh my god, I gotta make something. You just make like the worst fucking garbage. Just bang out like the hottest fucking garbage.
It's like Corey Feldman shit. That like exact series of events probably happens like so often. That's
Oh my
probably
god.
like such a large chunk of albums that are made in general are
Yeah.
somebody being like, "Wow, that album rocks. Let me let
Let
me
me
make
make a
some
bad
dog
version
shit."
of that.
Let me fucking do yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking do that as well. That it's just like, yeah.
The
yeah.
worst shit ever.
I'm being a little mean to Wild Mood Swings. It's like fine.
Yeah.
It's like whatever. The opening track is really good. Want is a really good song, but yeah.
That's just post grunge in a nutshell. Man, I really liked Pearl Jam. Let me do that. It's just the
Mhm.
worst.
Another like favorite contender for me was Where the Birds Always Sing.
That's my
Yeah.
This is
favorite
like
track. Yeah.
is it yeah.
That's
Oh, it's
I
my
another
think
album
favorite.
where we all have a different favorite. That's really
yeah,
cool.
that's pretty fun. Yeah.
I literally cannot get enough of the of the guitar. Like that shit's
Yeah.
so good.
I think that yeah, this track like the thing of you're like the world is neither fair nor unfair. You know, and just like a line will just kind of like sticks with you. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of like it's just kind of like I don't know, something about like the way it's like what the content of it plus the way it's used. I keep thinking about that. It's so cool. The idea the world is neither fair nor unfair. The idea is just a way for us to understand the world's neither fair nor unfair. So one survives, the others die, and you always want a reason why. It's just like this
I
very
love that part.
like
Everyone wants a reason why. Like it's just
yeah
so good.
yeah
Yeah.
it's so plain and like if this was like in a different context like the like it's not like saying it's not like profound thought you know but you can feel like through the song sort of the emotional place it's coming from it's not just
Yeah.
like it's not just like this like atheist bro like fucking like you think anything matters well fucking nothing matters and nothing I don't know but it's like understanding something intellectually and understanding something kind of emotionally are very different things and it's sort of like you can feel that he's like saying this to himself on an emotional level and it's this thing
Yeah.
that's like really hard to accept that is you just have to like, you know, but it's like so clearly true. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the narrative framing of it is one of the things that makes it really compelling to me. Like on a surface level, it's him like saying these things to like a second person
Yeah.
of like it's implied that the first person, which you can interpret as just like being like another part of himself or like an actual other person. Person number two is maybe losing their faith or feeling like there needs to be some kind of a sense to the world rather than randomness and chaos. And they're getting like frustrated. Like person number one is saying their worldview of being like this is just kind of how things are. Or like the world isn't fair or unfair. It's like we're just kind of like living here.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
there's no force like pulling the strings.
Loving mother below and a just father above or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. An
Yeah.
eternity of love, like an
Mhm.
afterlife. And I think
Yeah.
like what's interesting about that is it isn't just that interaction, but also what it says about the narrator and how they think about things and like their emotional state. You can tell that there's kind of like a sadness and cynicism or pessimism a little bit of like tired old man energy, I guess, that I get from it a
Yeah.
little bit.
No, I feel that.
Where he says, "But living on in others and memory and dreams is not enough. You want everything. Where the sun always shines, the birds always sing." Where he's basically saying like, there's no hidden truth. Like there's just like you do your best and you live on in others, and this he's like, that's not enough for this person. It's like you just want the world to be perfect, and that's not how it is, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it kind of feels like the like person number one has stopped hoping for these things a long time ago, and
Mm-hmm.
there's like a bit of sadness to it, but also maybe some like acceptance there.
Yeah, and there's
It's
Yeah.
just kind of interesting.
yeah, there's almost like there's like this I feel like a sort of weariness of with like jumping between like hope and anger, you know?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
It's
sure.
like being just like totally sick of like, oh, the world will work out, and like, oh, the world is so unfair. It's just like, no, it's like not either. It's no neither of those simple, easy things. It's like just more complicated. Yeah, I'm very surprised that this album isn't more like highly regarded. I feel like it's pretty clear when you listen to it that it's like quite
Top
good.
three for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys wanna give like theories as to why it's not
the
as
cover.
celebrated?
It's entirely the cover and
Yeah,
the time it came out. It's
cover's pretty
those things
bad.
in tandem.
Yeah,
The cover sucks ass,
yeah,
and it came out in 2000, where
yeah,
they also released a bad album before.
yeah,
So there you go. And then after this, they didn't have anything good, I believe, right? So
yeah.
it's all bad after this as well.
Yeah, at least like the albums as a whole. Like I think the opening track off of their last album was very good, but
So album-wise, this is kind of like in between. There's like two pieces of shit with a piece of like actual meat of substance in the middle, which is Bloodflowers. Uh, and
Shit
then also
sandwich.
not to yeah, the cover sucks.
It's like an
Uh,
inverse shit sandwich.
yeah, an inverse shit sandwich. So people are like, well, I'm not gonna bite into that because I like that looks gross. But if you do, you'll taste some meat, but you'll also taste shit. So
it's such a like literal metaphor.
yeah,
Hold inverted shit sandwich.
It doesn't really translate to reality if like that anyone would even consider like
exactly. That's why no one's
like
listened to it.
like the actual like the like immediate content of the metaphor is like more contrived and hard to explain than like the thing the metaphor is trying to signify.
yeah. Imagine a shit sandwich, but
But
like
but
the
reverse
bread
that
is the
shit.
shit, I guess. And then like the good album is meat, and every element of the sandwich is albums, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. But when this first came out, was like was the reception just like, oh, this is kind of mediocre, or was it bad?
Yeah, it was like pretty mixed. It was just kind of like, it's this is like boring and dreary and drab.
How can you think that? That
Yeah,
is
I don't know.
bizarre.
If I have a criticism of like the content of the music anywhere, like besides minor compression and production issues, around like There Is No If and The Loudest Sound, which I think are both very good songs.
For sure.
Maybe the energy level dips a bit. Like it's not a short album, And I do think the emotional quality of it, a bit like world weary and stuff. Like I find it compelling, but I also do notice that sometimes my attention drifts a little bit in that section of the album.
Well, yeah. Well, not to mention 39 and Bloodflowers are both 7 minutes.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause to me, this is like on par with Pornography for sure. Like, it's really good.
oh wow, nice.
I don't think it's as good as Disintegration, but it definitely. I think they're all good for different reasons. Pornography is just like bleak. There is no hope. You are going. There's nothing good ever happening ever.
Yeah,
Disintegration has some hope, and this one is mournful hope. Like the entire album is kind of hopeful, but just very melancholic at the same time. Disintegration has points of bleakness, like Pornography, but also
hmm
moments of hope. Yeah, I guess probably that's why Disintegration is their best because it has peaks and valleys. It's not just one feeling the entire time, which is probably why this album is kind of hard to get through for some people. It's just like, you hear the
Yeah, I
first
mean,
three tracks and that's all you're going to get basically. So if you don't like those first three tracks, you're not going to like the album.
yeah, I guess yeah, Disintegration is very much like it does a fair different like sampling of different things that like runs through the gamut of emotions, and then every single step it does really well. So it's
Exactly,
kind
yeah.
of like it's just kind of an odyssey.
yeah, it's like a journey of just the human experience as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that if you haven't listened to that album, by the way, that is one of the greatest albums ever made. It's in my top 10 ever.
Yeah,
Definitely listen to Disintegration. Pornography is also great.
yeah, it's like right behind it for me.
I would
Yeah,
definitely
that's
rank them Disintegration, Pornography, Bloodflowers. What would your top three Cure albums be then, Noah? If you've heard all of them.
like number one, Disintegration. Number two, Pornography. Number three, I might go Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me for number three.
Mm.
You would.
Yeah, you would. You like kissing, don't you?
I guess I do. You hate it?
The album?
All right.
Kissing?
Oh, I mean,
Is that too
yeah,
gross?
it has
A
its
little
benefits, I
unsanitary.
guess. Yeah, it's a little unsanitary.
Yeah, that's true.
You've always been on that MGTOW wave too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that like really brief moment? I guess it wasn't even that brief during COVID when like there was really genuinely advice that like if you were they were like you shouldn't hook up with people, but if you absolutely do,
Yeah.
it's better if you
Wear a
like
mask.
fuck with masks on and don't kiss. So
Yeah.
you can yeah.
Wow, yeah, I do remember
And
that.
they were like, and use a position such that your mouths aren't close together. And like that
Yeah.
was like really like a thing that was going on. It was like, yeah, you're supposed to get together with somebody and like not kiss and then like fuck doggy style with masks on and then leave.
Yeah.
Like there are people doing that.
Remember the first time I told you I love you? It was raining hard and you never heard.
You know, I think there should be more there should be more movies like that where like, you know, cuz like normally you have like say a couple hours and you want to like watch a movie and you also want to jack off. It's like you got to like separate the two, you know? You got to like do one then do the other unless you're like real freaky. But then it's like but then like I think we could totally there's totally an industry for that where you have like normal movie and then you have like 20-30 minutes of like graphic full penetration sex scene and like that's the jack off part and then it goes like back to normal movie, so it's like you just like appreciate, so there's like a lot of it you just like appreciate as a movie and then you know what I mean.
That's
It'd be
it's
like a
funny. That's why I couldn't finish Blue's the Warmest Colors because I felt like it was that movie. I remember I was
Yeah,
watching it and then like maybe like halfway through it I was like, I'm starting to feel gross. I'm just turning this off.
yeah, I know that experience. Yeah, there's a thing too when you're like watching a movie on your own, where it's just
hmm
like I don't know. There's just like this thing of like there's nothing just like if you're watching with people, like I feel like I can watch. I mean, maybe not with like I don't know. I guess I've watched some pretty graphic stuff like Game of Thrones and shit with my parents, but like but
Mhm.
like generally like if it's just like friends, I feel like I could watch like very graphic stuff in movies because it's just like, okay, yeah, where this is an environment where we're watching the movie and there's like a very
Yeah.
strong social reinforcement of that, but on your own, it's like it could be so easy just to like be jacking off, and so it's like,
What?
you
Well,
know,
okay. I'll be honest. I was like disassociating for a second. I just came back. What are you talking about?
That
yeah,
experience mirrors the audience. They all tuned out for this part.
I was just like, oh, well, they're talking about
we're
something.
talking.
I came back and Freddy's like, yeah, you know, if you're a group of friends and you're just thinking like I could easily jack off to this, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
That wasn't
about?
my point. My
You're
point is
you're
that they
you're
make you
mixing
not
up.
get.
You're mixing up what he said.
I would never
Okay.
say that. What I was
You said
saying,
he was saying the opposite of that.
what I was saying is the opposite. Don't worry. I was
Oh,
saying Robert
okay.
Smith makes you want to jack off.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, why do you think he named his album
uncontrollably.
pornography? For a reason.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
That album
exactly.
was hot.
Yeah, that's so hot.
Like, how much of like a sex symbol do you think he was?
And back in the day,
Like back in the day, like at all? Maybe not a
He,
sex. I don't know. Like, how many people had crushes on him? I feel like a fair few.
probably a lot. Like
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was a hot man back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his makeup was obviously like made to not be very well put together as like the smearing of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if you see pictures of him in the '80s without the makeup, especially, he's just like a good looking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He got a very defined jawline. I don't
Yeah,
normally notice that, but yeah.
he does.
Very-
Yeah, he has a butt chin.
Yeah, he does have a butt chin.
he has the crimson chin.
Yeah.
Wow, blast from the past with that one.
You guys want to guess which song was the biggest one in America anyway at the time of release?
Oh,
Um,
maybe someday.
What do you think, Freddie?
I bet it was there is no if.
It was Maybe Someday.
I knew it.
I wanted to say that, but
It's the most straightforward song on the album.
Yeah, and he said that was the song that he was like the most unsure about putting on the album.
yeah. No, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love Maybe Someday. It's great.
yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
As far as like lyrics, I like the depiction of saying you're letting go of something, deciding to, but then you're not really. Like
Yeah.
if you've ever heard somebody, especially like in the context of a relationship, be like, yeah, it's over and it's sad, but I'm moving on, and maybe someday she'll like get back
Yeah,
with
maybe
me or
someday she'll
something.
come back with me. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of it typifies that a little bit in a more general sense, I think. I mean, it is alluding to a relationship, but well, another aspect of this album that I haven't touched on yet is that Robert Smith thought it was going to be the last Cure album.
It definitely sounds that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
If only.
That would have been a great send off. Not yeah.
Then he had to ruin it. No, now the band sucks.
I mean, hey, if they want to make another album, I will listen to it.
Yeah,
I just don't think
mean,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
They are
Yeah, is
making
this-
another album.
They are?
yeah,
What?
I saw this. Yeah.
It's
Wh-
been in the
when?
works for like years though. Like I don't know when it's coming out.
Oh, I hope it's good. Please let it be good. All
No,
right.
they
Well, maybe they can redeem themselves.
My point of bringing that up is that I do think the lyrics could also mostly be read as his kind of internal conflict about whether to end the band.
Oh, yeah.
I think of it as kind of a general thing that can apply to like a general feeling and situation that can apply to a lot of things. But I think that was probably some of the inspiration. It's one of the few songs on here where I could be like, that's pretty catchy. Like most of it is very not like radio friendly.
Yeah, the only two
Yeah.
songs on Radio Family are Where the Birds Always Sing and Maybe Someday. Those are the only two ones where I'm like, oh, this is really catchy.
Yeah, and even the catchiest moments on here aren't like Friday I'm in Love or something like that.
Yeah, or Love Song. Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
something that that always strikes me when I'm listening to it is the song "The Loudest Sound." The
hmm
that kind of electronic percussion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's a little bizarre.
yeah, that's like one of the moments where the original direction for the album is coming through like a little bit
Yeah.
with the aesthetics. That always reminds me of the Flaming Lips, like the Yoshimi.
I was gonna
Oh
say
yeah,
it's just like I was reminded of because we were talking about the same thing for Steve Burns,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
those like goofy big synth pews.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like reminded of the same thing.
he has on Traposphere
yeah.
for
I
the
think
ball.
I think there are actually like emotional parallels between this and Songs for Dust Mites, like this album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Very similar lyrically. Although I think this is much better lyrically than Songs for Dust Mites. But
Dust Mites had like a similar, I mean, a simple charm to it.
It was just for dust mites after all.
just for Dust
These,
Mites.
these songs are for humans.
Yeah, Dust Mites don't even have brains; they just have like ganglia, so
Yeah,
they can only process so much.
Yeah.
Ganglia.
They can't hear. They can't really. I don't know. They probably don't get that much out of music. Honestly, not really a great demographic.
It's probably why no one bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't use currency.
Not to my knowledge.
It has not yet been documented.
It's funny how it's called the loudest sound, and I don't think it's probably not the loudest sound on this album.
Yeah, I don't think this track contains this album's loudest sound.
Yeah.
That guitar solo in Bloodflowers though, that gets up there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's so sick. It's so good.
We touched on it a bit, but they didn't really guitar solo before this album.
Yeah, I
No.
was gonna say, yeah, that's like a very it's pretty interesting. They really lean into the solos.
They're really
Yeah.
good at them. They're very,
Yeah.
very good solos.
It's
Uh,
mostly Robert Smith doing the solos.
Oh yeah, interesting.
really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, throughout The Cure's career, he's doing a lot of the guitar leads.
He's such an
Mhm. He
impressive
would.
musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am jealous of his creativity, honestly.
Me
Even when
too,
he's
man.
bad, I'm like, at least you came up with this. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, the song "There Is No If," he like wrote a version of that like in the early stages of the band, like in the early '80s.
really?
Yeah. And he said
Yeah.
that like they had
Interesting.
thought about putting it on an album like several times, but it just never sounded like it fit.
That's
I can
pretty
see this
interesting.
being
Yeah.
like an 80s Cure song for sure. That checks out.
Yeah, I was thinking that it like is a little different. Like you hear the like yeah, like the really sad sack kind of like like fucking like non-pussy getting energy kind of terms. It's very like
Non-pussy getting energy.
I forget exactly what it is, but it's like he like tells her he loves her, and she's just like like whatever. She kind of like doesn't react.
Yeah, it's you yawn, so I had to say it again, and then
Yeah, you had to say it. I was like, oh god, that's rough.
It's she sneezed,
you sneezed, yeah.
so he says it again. So it's like it happens multiple times.
Like, oh man, that is that's some real rough shit, man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you die, you said, so do I, you said, but it ends the day you understand.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the thing that's really intriguing about it is, I mean, it's pretty clearly saying that his feelings are unrequited, or that at least their communication, there's some like breakdown there. But
hmm
then like the other person is saying, if you die, so do I.
What do you think they mean by it ends the day you understand? What do you think he's trying to say?
Yeah, I was never like totally sure with that line.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
entirely sure what he means.
I guess like he says like it ends the day you understand there is no if. So it's like if you die, so it's just like you die and so do I instead of if you die, so do I. That's, I mean, that's like one of the only genius annotations on this album said like about that much. So I think there might be something to that.
Okay.
That's the case, I don't totally know how it relates. I guess it might be saying like either the relationship will end or like one of us will die, and then that like will be the end. And yeah, that might be like a commentary on like the thing that's supposed to be romantic about the like if you die so do I thing is that like
yeah.
Yeah.
they will be together like as long as both of them are alive, and being like, well, it's still the end. So
Right, right.
like she never says I love you back in the song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
it's kind of like vaguely uncomfortable.
Like you kissed me, but can you say I love you back, please?
I think a lot of
Yeah,
people have been in a situation like that.
For
yeah.
sure, for sure.
Leave a comment if that's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave a comment if that's you, please.
Leave a comment instead of anthrax this time.
Yeah, please, please.
time. If you could give us a break, that would be nice.
Yeah, just a tiny break.
Like I do have to order some packages sometimes, so like I gotta check what's inside, and it's just it gets me every time. I'm really
Yeah.
getting over it.
Like,
Yeah, it's
good one, guys. Come on.
ha ha, very funny.
will never fade. Never fade.
Bloodflowers is a good closer.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is one of the more disintegration sounding ones, I think, with the toms
Yeah, I would
Mhm.
agree. Yeah.
and that bass sound. Bass playing in The Cure, by the way, the incredible, like so melodic.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Trying to think of a closer by The Cure that's like really great. What's the disintegration closer? I don't
They all
remember.
suck so bad. I'm trying to think of a new one, one that's
No,
actually.
no.
Disintegration version closer is Untitled.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Untitled's great. Untitled's great. What's pornography's closer?
That's the title track.
It's pornography. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, all three of these have really awesome closers, especially Bloodflowers. I feel like the closing track for this is very much an accumulation of the whole album, and it's also sad and depressing.
You can believe it.
Can you believe the Cure made a sad, depressing song?
The lines at the end, like "You give me flowers of love, that always fade, always die. I let fall flowers of blood," like that kind of sums up the album again.
Mm-hmm. Just love fading and dying, and you have to just move on.
Yeah,
Or just generally anything, like just a person, a memory, a location, love.
yeah, and how that
Uh,
like part of it feels like part of you is also fading, and you have
yeah,
to move on and like kind of feel incomplete at least for a while, and things aren't
yeah,
going to be the same.
yeah. It's just like the healing and moving on process, and but also looking back and being sad about it, but knowing there's something afterwards. Yeah, that's what I like about the Cure. For the most part, they are sad, but there usually is like a glimmer of hope, or like a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, just instrumentally, it sounds so nice. I love the guitar playing in The Cure in general, of those like single note melodies on the lower register. It gives like such a distinctive sound. That like kind of staccato, reverby, the single note melody that they like to do. It's just so nice.
Hmm. And then this is another song. So like "Watching Me Fall," where he kind of builds, and at the end he's just like screaming.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
always die, just screaming it.
They also use a nice tasteful flanger. Love a bit of
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Yeah. We do
I
love a
like
good
this.
flange.
Yeah.
It's been known that the three of us love flangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't understand why music just isn't entirely flanger.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. When we release our album, you should just make a second version where it's all flanger.
Yeah, a flange only version.
Flange burner.
Flange burner. Flange burner.
You're so fucking stupid.
Yeah, just
So
flange the
fucking
master of
flanger.
the whole album.
It would take like a whole 2 seconds.
You should
Yeah.
do it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it so bad.
Yeah.
Once you're done actually mastering an album, make a second version where just
Like
that.
a flange runner version, yeah.
Taking up so much space in the Dropbox just for like for a flanger.
That's awesome. We'll release that version too. To
Yeah.
Patreons if they want it.
Oh my god, how real bands will release their songs sped up and slowed down now.
Yeah, that
God,
actually makes me mad.
fucking
It's
sucks.
entirely TikTok's fault too.
Just diminishing the attention spans.
Yeah.
people. You gotta speed up the fucking song. Like it wasn't mixed or performed to sound like that. It sounds like fucked up and weird.
Maybe they'll make 8D audio versions of their songs soon. We had some chaotic moments this episode.
There were
Like-
some. There were some.
I feel like when that's condensed, those might become more clear.
Yeah, I think that is the effect usually. I should mention the song 39. The title is because that's how old he was when he wrote it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the significance of that, which kind of directly ties to the whole theme of, aging and change. It also seems like kind of literally about like artistic burnout.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So he literally says like, I've run right out of thoughts and I've run right out of words.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another thing on the band ending, kind of with this album.
Yeah.
Also, the bass on this is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, this is another one with the guitar solo.
Oh yeah.
Just seriously kind of like bluesy, like. It's like-
Yeah, some pentatonic licks there.
Yeah. No, this really is just like The Cure's like, let's make an alt rock album, but have like, the aesthetics of The Cure still. And it's really good.
I think that's worth mentioning. Most new wave bands like ate shit in the 90s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they had no idea what to do, and
Yeah.
I think like The Cure was alt rock adjacent enough, like part of the alternative movement enough that they kind of knew how to adapt. Anyway, let's wrap this bitch up.
Let's wrap this
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Rap
Put it-
Boom Plastic. I
Yeah.
recommend it highly. It's very good.
yeah,
like The Cure?
unfairly maligned.
If you like The Cure, listen to it. If you like alt rock, listen to it. If you just want a fun, cool, epic
Yeah, it's-
album.
You're not stupid.
If you're not fucking
Yeah.
stupid,
You're a
listen to this
fucking
album.
idiot.
If you don't like this album, then clearly you're not good at listening to music. You're just bad at it.
Go back to music school and learn to listen to music.
Go back to music
Better.
school, you
Go back to
dummies.
fucking idiot.
This is something we should do every time. We
Yeah.
should get really aggressive about people not liking it.
Yeah, get really aggressive.
I'll club you like a seal.
Yeah.
Every album we talk about, if you don't like it, I'll club
Yep.
you like a seal.
I'll fillet you like a fish if you don't like this album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend the album. It's really good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, The Cure, they're a very popular band, but by this point, they weren't as much. And I think, yeah, if you heard they didn't really make anything good after Disintegration or Wish, then
You heard wrong.
you heard wrong.
You heard wrong, yeah.
Give this one a spin. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And if you were bored by it, give it another listen and force yourself to like it.
Yeah, that's how music works. You just you listen to it until you like it. It's
Yeah, I think
Stockholm
that's a good way to
syndrome.
go about it. Yeah.
It is a method.
Yes, it's one of them. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Come by next time where we're gonna listen to. All right,
Whatever.
goodbye.
Is that actually how we're doing it?
I don't know.
Did you have anything else to say, Freddie?
Yes, but I won't say it.
If you have something
Wow.
to say, you can.
No,
Go
I
on.
Freddie's been censored.
don't.
Okay, yeah, we're censoring
The
Freddy.
woke mob came for me.
The woke mob, yeah.
It's bound to
Yeah.
happen eventually.
Yeah.
You're being a
Even
bit too
found
much of
out.
an independent thinker there.
Yeah.
All right. If we didn't already, if the episode isn't already over, then it's over now. Goodbye.
It's over. See ya.
See ya, see ya, see ya, see ya.